The girls in the bathrobes, and the man stands worried. This is the current that takes Erhan Elif's safe boat to stormy waves in life. The gorgeous Sibel decides to help the loving couple, Erhan and Elif. She's willing to pay them 3 million Turkish lira. But her offer comes with a price. She wants Erhan to spend 3 days with her in the bedroom, and no matter what, he must obey her. She has already sent 500,000 lira to Erhan's account. The couple exchange meaningful looks, and Sibel gives them 1 hour to think. Then they give her their reply. Let's go 4 days back in time. Erhan drives a luxury car to Elif's workplace, a kindergarten. He asks her to take 15 minutes off work and asks her colleague, Seven, to cover her absence. He pulls his car aside and walks with his fiancée to an alluring and impressive building and says that this is his surprise. They ascend to their apartment. Elif doesn't believe her eyes that they even will be able to afford such a place. But Erhan has paid the advance and is up to buy the apartment. Shortly, he gets the work meeting notification and drops Elif off at the kindergarten, then heads toward his work at the firm. At the clinic, Sibel meets her friend, Melis, the gynecologist, who tells her the bad news that after 3 months when she's post-surgery, she won't be able to conceive. Sibel leaves the clinic with the world's weight on her shoulders. She wanders in the streets and sees kids all around her. In the meeting room, she heads the CFO team and says that a year has passed since they started the company, yet still they're in the red zone. Work isn't thriving at all. Erhan comes up with ideas to cut down the expenditure, but she doesn't feel it right to take his words positively at the current moment. Then she discusses the financial planning for the upcoming quarter of the company's fiscal year. At night, Erhan takes Elif, her brother Arda, and his father-in-law to a fine restaurant. He surprises them by setting the wedding date in 3 months in a lavish restaurant. On the other hand, Sibel visits her family for the weekly dinner gathering. She is having dessert, while the whole family is chatting with Senem, Sibel's sister, on a video call from America, where she's studying at the university. Her father, Tahir, seems proud of her, but at the end of the call, her boyfriend calls on her. The smile turns to a questioning frown on Tahir's face, since when Senem is living with a strange man under the same roof. Tahir Korislan is a self-made businessman who believes in hard work and adheres to his family's traditions and heritage. But at the end of the day, all roads lead to Sibel. He blames his favorite kid for the younger sister's recklessness because Tahir thinks that Senem takes her as a role model in her lifestyle, living by herself and not getting married yet. He also wants a successor grandson who steers the business after him. The Korislan's dinner turns into an outlandish gathering when Sibel's brother, Tunke, and his wife become disturbed by the father's comments. They disperse, everyone in a different direction. The mansion that has the disagreeable characters under its roof is only the tip of the iceberg underneath. In the morning, Sibel wakes up and brews her coffee. Then she does boxing. There's this only thought that keeps spinning in her head. She's going to have surgery after which she won't be able to conceive. Her friend, Melis, stops by and takes her for breakfast. They talk about how one can be under a selective perception effect and never notice what's there in the surroundings. Sibel picks up the call and talks to her mom, Skran. Her father has arranged a date for her with Zephyr. But Sibel wants something real, not the kind of relationship that her brother Tunke has with his wife, although they have 2 daughters. And Erhan's plans go down the drain when his colleague, Samet, tells him that they're bankrupt because the stock's value crashed down. They have lost 3 million at once. Samet owes some men who will come after him if he doesn't pay them back in a week, and Erhan is worried about his father-in-law, Erhan, who has mortgaged his house to lend him the money. Things go south for Erhan. He heads out aimlessly until he reaches the parking lot. He screams out the suppressed anger, whereas Sibel in her car sees everything behind the privacy glass. Erhan pulls himself together and stands looking at his reflection on Sibel's car window, knowing not that she's observing his saddened face in silence. He goes back to work, but Sibel seems to develop feelings for him. She is in her office when her father comes in saying that as successful in business as she is, she needs to be the same in her personal life. She must meet Zephyr. So, she prepares herself for the arranged date, but both seem not interested. Zephyr suggests entering the sham marriage, while Sibel doesn't like the idea. For her, it has to be real. And Erhan gets a call that he's invited to attend Sibel's brand, Jezebel, launching party in Antalya. He attends the party with Elif, but seeing them together triggers Sibel's jealousy with a tinge of her unique feminine instinct because it's obvious that she likes Erhan. Her day couldn't be worse when her father calls her saying that she has to cover the party's expenses, especially since she booked the entire hotel for her big day. Tunke arrives at a nightclub where 5 years ago he met Erhan, who used to perform on the stage. In his eyes, she was an exquisite creature, and when they talked, they clicked. Then the 5-year-long affair came into existence. But today, Erhan isn't performing. As her friend says she's in stage 3 of cancer, Tunke finds her at her home with a dull face. From behind comes a little boy, whose name is Berke. She tells him that he's his son, and if he doubts that, then he can run a paternal DNA test. Instead of going to an orphanage, he has to take care of his child. Berke, who used to wonder where his father is, has just met him. And Erhan bids her kid her last farewell with tears under the thundering sky. In the hotel, the party is on, but Sibel is out of sorts, and when Tunke hands her the bill from her father, she leaves the table and heads out where the others are partying outdoors around the bonfire. She spots Erhan and his fiancée. That's the kind of love she desires. Meanwhile, Tunke takes Berke to the hotel and pacifies him to stop the tantrums over his mother's absence. When he gets a call from his wife, Begum, the boy slips away. Only Elif finds the little boy and then takes him to the reception to get him back to his parents. At this time, Tunke arrives and takes his son back. And when Zephyr appears drunk and harasses Sibel, Erhan knocks him down. After a while, she speaks on the phone with her friend, Melis, and insinuates that she has found her man, bold, protector, loving, and all that in the traditional code. He's just a few steps away from her. But Erhan isn't aware of her feelings. He's looking at his fiancée's angelic face, sleeping peacefully. For him, the earth seems to lack oxygen tonight. How can he pull himself out of his problems? The next day, Elif's eyes lie on the jewelry showroom, where a unique necklace grabs her attention. She tries it on, but since Erhan isn't ready yet to buy it for her, she gives it back to the salesman. Unexpectedly, Sibel comes in and insists on giving it as a gift to her, as a thank you gesture to Erhan, who has stood up for her in front of Zephyr. She invites them to attend the pool party. People clap for the successful fashion show, whereas Sibel throws a strange look at Erhan. That doesn't go unchecked by Elif. However, she lets the red flag sign drift away. Then the invitees congratulate Sibel when she overhears Erhan talking to Samet about the updates regarding the millions he lost. Elif notices that something is wrong with Erhan, but he can't tell her yet. Out of nowhere, Sibel interferes, saying that she knows about the loss he has to endure. Elif doesn't understand what's going on. Is it the money he has taken as collateral from her father, who has mortgaged her childhood house? She walks down the pier when the fireworks light up the dark sky, while Elif falls into the waters. Sibel rushes after her and saves her life. They head back to the hotel where they wear the white bathrobes. And here we go back to the opening scene. In the present, the couple argue over the morality of Sibel's offer. Erhan has some thoughts about the golden offer. On the contrary, Elif's jealousy kicks in. She takes the necklace off and throws it away. Erhan takes careful steps in an accountant's mindset. He wants to check the proposal closely. Hence, he heads to Sibel's suite and asks her about her proposal, especially since she's a beautiful and independent lady who doesn't need a fling with him. Sibel doesn't answer his question, She only hands him the agreement document to sign, however. If he doubts the deal, then he can tear it down before anything starts between them. The clever Sibel moves her pawns strategically to reach the winning line. Meanwhile, Elif leaves the hotel with her baggage and traps over the hotel's front stairs. She's gone mad when Erhan doesn't answer her call. Once Tunkay sees her, he brings her a cup of lemon balm to calm her nerves down. And when she's up to hurry to the airport, he asks her to let him take her there, especially when Berkay wants to see her once again. But Tunkay seems to like her. He asks her to accompany them on their car trip back to Istanbul, and she agrees. At the same time, Sibel drives her car to an abandoned house in the middle of nowhere. Her driver snaps pictures of her with Erhan and sends them to Tunkay as he has asked him to follow her. And after 3 days, Sibel returns with Erhan to Istanbul. He meets Elif, who's extremely disturbed by the fact that he has spent 3 nights with Sibel. But Erhan reassures her that nothing of what she's thinking has happened. At the same moment, Sibel visits her parents, and once they're having dinner, Tahir acclaims her achievements and success. But the news of Sibel's incognito boyfriend comes out untimely. The father becomes furious, and then kicks her out. The next day, Elif confronts Sibel at the workplace and threatens her that she'll take her fiancé back at any possible cost. She rushes out and notices Tunkay at the reception, where she bumps into the big boss, Tahir Korislan. When she reaches the reception, she doesn't find Tunkay. The receptionist tells her, briefly, about the Korislan family. Elif's anger takes her miles to destroy Sibel. She calls Tunkay, telling him that she's accepting what he has offered her a couple of days ago to become Berkay's nanny. In this way, she'll destroy her enemy from the inside. In her anguish, Sibel gets a call from her father, telling her to meet him at their house in Sile. She goes there while Erhan follows her. On the other side, Tunkay takes Elif and his son to the same destination. Coincidentally, the family members gather at the same location. Tunkay learns that his father is coming, so he takes Elif and the boy upstairs. But out of curiosity, Elif eavesdrops on what's being said downstairs. Sibel arrives, and in no time, Erhan shows his face at the door. She takes him outside and reminds him that he should stick to his part of the deal and lie low. She returns to the inside when Berkay takes the stairs down. The little kid's voice pierces the heavy silence, saying, "Dad." Tunkay explains everything. And now, this is his son. He even has had a positive DNA result. Tahir doesn't believe his luck. Finally, the heir who will take his place in the holding has arrived. But still, he needs to arrange something with his daughter's dishonoring action. The Korislans meet at the weekly dinner table, and Tahir announces that, instead of Sibel, Tunkay will run the firm. Sibel is taken aback by the unfair decision. All of her hard work has gone up into smoke. Wouldn't it be better if he disowns her through the patriarchal system he adheres to? Her heart sinks with sadness. She goes to a bar and drinks until she becomes wasted. The bartender calls Erhan to come and get her because she's unable to drive her car. Erhan hurries out and brings her to his home, where Samet becomes flabbergasted by what he sees. Either he has died, and now is seeing flashes and jumbled memories from his worldly life, or is that, for real, Miss Sibel who's sleeping inside? Erhan asks him to zip up his mouth and hushes the train of thoughts in his mind. The next morning, Sibel wakes up and thanks Erhan for his help. In a while, he opens the door and finds Elif at the threshold. He doesn't allow her to step in since Sibel was lying hungover in his bed. But when he learns that Elif has resigned from her job as a kindergarten teacher and now is working as a full-time nanny for Tunkay's son, Erhan becomes upset. He asks Sibel about her brother's interference in Elif's life. She replies that she has no clue about it. Meanwhile, she gets a message from an unknown number who's blackmailing her by spreading more photos of hers with her secret lover unless she pays 1,000,000 Turkish lira. Upon that, both head out to rendezvous with the stranger. When they arrive, Erhan spots the man's figure, Then he catches him to find out that he's Mehmet, Sibel's driver. He says that it's Tunke who has leaked her photos to the press. After all the hurdles, Sibel's ego becomes depleted. Should she take it all at once from her rigid old-school father, her opportunist, unfaithful brother, or her infertility struggles? She reaches her family's home with Erhan and finds Ziffer with his family awaiting her. Zephyr questions the accountant's presence in the family gathering. Everybody indeed has a skeleton in the closet. Erhan fires back at Zephyr, wondering what he was doing in Antalya, and why was he harassing Sibel. Tunke yells at him that he shouldn't interfere in the family's private matters, and Sibel picks the keyword, privacy, and goes on saying that it's Tunke who took her photos and sent them over to the press, creating scandalous headlines in the news. The accusations don't stop when each one of the siblings exposes the other's dirt in public. Tunke wonders why she needed her accountant in order to spend 3 prepaid nights with her. Erhan ends the accusations when he addresses Tunke, saying that he should have stood for his sister instead of putting her reputation on the spike for his gains. Meanwhile, Elif takes Berke to the hospital, and when Tunke learns that, he hurries to check on him. He thanks Elif, as without her help, he wouldn't be able to keep the boy. And when her father sees them together, he asks about Erhan. She says that he's cheating on her, and right now he's no longer in her life. Berhan meets Erhan, and out of the blue, he slaps him in the face. How could he cheat on his daughter after everything they did for him? He doesn't bother to hear lame excuses. Instead, he drives the car in that state of anger, which leads to an accident. Tahir tells Begum that her husband, Tunke, has a kid from another woman, and that the boy will live where he belongs, with them, and Begum doesn't fathom it easily. At the same time, Erhan learns about Sibel's real struggle, that in 3 months she'll have surgery, after which she's gonna lose her ability to have children. While they're talking, Sibel gets a call from a woman called Erhan, who has an unpleasant past with her that's chasing her to the present. To untangle their past, they travel to Antalya to meet Erhan, who says that it all started when Sibel bought the hotel from her father. Knowing that they needed cash, she ventured on what they had and left the father with his misery. Eventually, he hanged himself and died. After Erhan leaves, Sibel collapses, saying that all that she'd done was a business and trading off the hotel's poor condition for its renovation. Erhan feels sorry for the poor girl, knowing not that he's opening spaces for her in his heart with each moment he spends with her. Next, Tunke visits Elif and tells her about Sibel's illness. That's why Erhan had to sign the deal with her to have a baby with him before the surgery. Upon that, Elif meets Erhan and takes off her ring, saying that it's over between them. For Erhan, this is unfair, because he is forced to do all that he's going through right now. And as bad as it seems, Sibel is relieved, since the road to Erhan's heart is open for her to navigate. But when she says that Tunke plays around with her accounts in Jezebel and that he will sell her company to add money to his pocket, Erhan replies that it's none of his business. He won't get his hands in her mud anymore. She suspects that he might reconcile with Elif. Nonetheless, he must stick to the contract. Otherwise, he'll have to face the consequences. The policemen arrest Erhan, who learns that Sibel is the one who filed a fraud and tampering case with the company's accounts against him. Upon learning the lesson, he asks her that he will do whatever she wants in exchange for dropping the charges. She does so, and then they head out to the company's financial department. She confronts Tunke about the files that he has played with, but he denies all that. In another twist, Tahir hires Erhan in his company and offers her a suite in his hotel. He favors her without knowing her background and past history. At night, Sibel takes Erhan for a dinner where she suggests that they should marry. If so, then she guarantees he'll be happy with her. Erhan's agreement has cost him his love. Now she's suggesting marriage. He doesn't like the idea, and when he's up to leave, he sees Elif with Tunke heading toward their table. It's Tunke's way of throwing the stones back at him, because he helped Sibel expose his lies and vicious conspiracies. Erhan thinks that Elif better leave a married man with kids, and Elif believes as she can't stop him from hanging out with Sibel, then her affairs are none of his business. He goes back home with boiling blood in his veins. The wise man says, "Do not take a decision when you're angry." But Erhan doesn't take the advice. He says yes to Sibel's marriage proposal, who hits the speed to break the news to her parents. Tahir doesn't agree, and Elif, who works as Berke's nanny there, overhears the bonding news. After taking a home pregnancy test, she learns that she's pregnant from Erhan. She tells Erhan that she regrets whatever she spewed at his face and that they need to start over. Sibel sees them in each other's arms, and upon that, her determined bossy temperament takes a notch up to become an aggressive one this time. Nonetheless, she recalls snippets of those mysterious 3 nights in Antalya. On the other hand, Tunke calls Elif, and to show Erhan that there's nothing between them, she presses the speaker button on. But Tunke proves the opposite. He loves her. And once again, Erhan says that they're over. He goes straight to Sibel and says that Elif has become an ancient history for him, nothing more. The next day, Sibel goes to the company. When she hears an unwanted voice from behind, Erhan's, she learns that she's her father's new assistant. Apparently, Tahir is under her spell because he's not listening to what Sibel is telling him about this girl's cunning and devious mind. On Elif's side, where Tunke notices the pregnancy test, and when he asks about that, she replies that it's Erhan's child. She intends to keep it a secret from him. But Tunke's war is ongoing with Sibel. Tahir finds out the file which proves that his son has played Sibel. He warns him that if he wants to keep his seat, then he better focus on bigger things instead of trapping his sister. To take revenge, Tunke throws Elif's pregnancy bomb at Erhan's face, who hurries out to apologize to Elif with new promises and hopes. But she says that it's not his child, it's Tunke's. He tells Sibel that they need to marry as soon as possible. Again, a decision is taken under the wrong circumstances, and Erhan comes back with her healing good news, but she wants her kid back. Erhan films Tahir when he was with her, then sends the video to his wife, Sukran, and pretends that someone is threatening her as well. The moment Sukran gets the video, she asks Tahir to leave the house, and in the evening, her daughters try to calm her down. Erhan overhears his daughter talking about her pregnancy to Tunke, and the next day, he disowns her. But Tunke reassures him that as soon as he divorces his wife, he'll marry Elif. It's Sibel and Erhan's wedding day, when Elif intends to tell Erhan about his child. Tunke stops her, but the bride, Sibel, hears their talk and feels the guilt up in her conscience. She doesn't want to come as an obstruction in forming a family with Erhan's kid. Suddenly, Sukran's health worsens. She says that Berke can't be seen anywhere. The wedding ceremony stops, and Tunke predicts that it has to be Nan who took the boy. He hits the road with Elif to her nightclub, where she meets Nahan and learns that she doesn't have the financial ability to take care of Berke. She succeeds in convincing her that she will raise the boy and that she can meet him whenever she wants. Sibel changes her mind and tells Erhan that she doesn't want marriage. After paying him the 3 million, he has to leave her. Thinking that she doesn't deserve to raise kids of her own, she takes the surgery choice. But on the day of the operation, Erhan stops her and arranges to pick up where they stopped the wedding ceremony. Despite everything going against their marriage, he carries on until Erhan puts a newborn's booty in front of him, saying congratulations. He learns everything and blames Sibel for hiding that Elif is pregnant with his child. Things accelerate at a rapid speed and ends up with the divorce paper from Sibel that needs Erhan's signature, plus how Zephyr admits that he's blackmailing Sibel and Tahir as well. He sends the record to Sibel, who tells her father that Zephyr's part in drowning their name has been exposed and that he must contact his lawyer. In the meantime, Erhan meets Elif and her father. He says that he has sent the divorce paper to Sibel. It's only her signature that's left for this nightmare to end for good. At night, Sibel is on her way to Erhan's place, and Elif comes in her way saying that she has lost. Sibel tears the divorce paper down, saying that she doesn't want to let go of Erhan because he has feelings for her, and that he only got back to Elif when he found out that she was with his child. Because she has been exposed to dramatic events and intense turns in her life lately, Elif becomes ill, and Tumke takes her to the hospital, where she's had an abortion. It's her love that may kill her. She begs Tumke to keep losing the baby a secret between them, because the moment Erhan knows the truth, he'll leave her. Erhan learns that Elif's health is fragile, hence, he spends most of the time taking care of her, thinking that she's still pregnant. All that pushes Sibel to determine the decision of the divorce. But one day Tumke tells her the truth. Sibel confronts Elif, but this time her attitude is out of sympathy with her. When Erhan knows that she is not pregnant, then he'll never forgive her. She tells Elif that she's going to travel abroad with her new partner at the company. When Elif faces Erhan about the baby's abortion, he is baffled by her lies and how extreme she's become. The betrayal is painful. Sibel comforts him with words and cancels any trips away from him. They get together. Meanwhile, Elif clicks with Tumke. But most importantly, Tahir learns the lesson the hard way and seeks his lifelong partner and his wife, Sukran's forgiveness. At the dining table, when Elif finds out that Sibel has lied to her about her trip to Germany with her partner, the anger inside her grows bigger. She doesn't want to let it pass easily, and she will avenge her wounded pride. Her father has been admitted to the hospital, and when Erhan visits him, she gets closer to him. But Erhan steps behind, saying that she's not his girlfriend anymore. Sibel accuses her that she's a manipulative girl who's able to go to extreme ends to meet her goals. They look her in the eyes, then leave. In the end, Sibel gets the news from her friend Melis that her medical condition has improved, and that she can build a happy home with Erhan, the love of her life. Elif asks Tumke whether the way that they have described her is true, because they just have killed her heart ruthlessly. Tumke understands her psychological state. He tells her that she was defending her lost love. She just has lost the battle, and licking the wounded heart builds invulnerability over time. This Turkish drama is built upon the rooted patriarchal system in some societies. Plus, it's the fight for one's ego that establishes new beginnings and sets the boundaries in the relationships. It's directed by Senil Sanmaz and Doga San Anafarda. It was written by Han Jae-hoon, Ozer Sentinel, and others. It stars Alperen Daimaz as Erhan, Melissa Pamuk as Sibel, Roya Demirbulut as Elif, and Ahmet Kayakusan as Tumke.